clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide a habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for homes, and beauty to our community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and renewal, now, therefore, I, Michael McCullough, Mayor of the City of Bonney, Lake Washington, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2023 as Arbor Day in the City of Bonney Lake, and urge all citizens and property owners to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to plant trees and to gladden the heart and promote well-being of this and future generations, dated this 11th day of April, 2023. Okay, and proclamation number 2. Whereas parks, playgrounds, nature trails, open spaces, community and cultural centers, and historic sites make a community attractive and desirable places to live, work, play, and visit, and contribute to our ongoing economic vitality. And whereas parks are a place where people can reflect, exercise, play, socialize, and have fun, and whereas public parks and open spaces help build a sense of community and are places where everyone is welcome. And whereas numerous jurisdictions, cities, and organizations, including Bonney Lake, have joined together to create an event that encourages citizens to celebrate the value and enhance quality of life that parks bring to our communities. And whereas many businesses, benefactors, organizations, and donors have provided sponsorships and donations to support this event that will bring citizens together and support their local parks. And whereas thousands of citizens throughout Pierce County will volunteer their time to clean up and beautify parks and open spaces on Saturday, April 22nd, 2023. Now, therefore, I, Michael McCullough, Mayor of City of Bonney Lake, Pierce County, Washington, proclaim April 22nd, 2023 as Parks Appreciation Day, and encourage all citizens to celebrate by participating in this event and assisting to clean up and beautify Bonney Lake's parks, trails, and open spaces, dated this 11th day of April, 2023. And on that note, that same day, April 22nd, is the opening day of our Bonney Lake Little League. I'm sure all of y'all remember that particular organization. They went national last year, and there will be an opening ceremony if everybody wants to show up. It'll be 9 o'clock in Allen York Park. All right. So, having no public hearings, let's move to citizen commentary. All right, citizens, this is your chance to address the council on matters, as I believe our novice up at the dais knows. This is your time to speak. You have 5 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Council, Mayor Dan Decker, past council member. I live at 204 and 70th Street East, Bonney Lake, Washington. The Second Amendment, its purpose is to promote peace, prosperity, and liberty. The Second Amendment is to promote peace, prosperity, and liberty by protecting life and property from invaders, to include lawful resistance against tyrannical government. The Second Amendment is part of the Constitution, and it's measured and intent is from the Declaration of Independence. What does the Second Amendment say? A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Side note, I wish the government would get off of the Second Amendment, because all they do is infringe on it. The Supreme Court didn't recognize individual rights to own guns until 2008. The Constitution states, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Long guns were the weapons of the Old West. The so-called cowboys of the West had pistols and long guns. People didn't wear their pistols open carry like in the movies. Most people were farmers and owned long guns. Most used long guns for hunting and, of course, protection. The government wants to take our Second Amendment away. This erosion of the Second Amendment comes from mostly the Democrats, the New World Order, which doesn't exist, yeah, right, and ignorant people, those ignorant people that think the New World Order doesn't exist. How many people die from gunshot in the U.S. each year? About 48,000. How many people die from auto crashes each year? About 46,000. Why isn't the government busy taking away our automobiles along with our protection, our guns? Well, who knows the answer to that? People have been killing each other since the beginning of time. First by bare hands, then rocks, then clubs, then knives, then bows and arrows, then guns, and now all of the above, including automobiles. People are killing each other. What a thought. What is the thing that people stop most? What is the one thing that stops most countries from invading the U.S. of A.? We all own guns. For every bush, there's a gun. Every person, there's a gun. There are more guns out there than there are people. But the point here is they're for protection. Our forefathers didn't come forward and give us the right of the Second Amendment for a joke. They gave it to us because they know where they came from. A king that was a tyrant. And give a person power, and you know the next moment they think they own you. And here it is happening right now in the United States of America. Thank you very much, Counsel.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Decker. Is there anybody else for the good of the order?
Other thing I wanted to do is I mentioned to the mayor the other day that we are actually the 5th busiest branch in the Pierce County Library System. We're the busiest mid-sized branch in the system. We're coming off our first quarter, so I wanted to share a couple statistics with you to give you an idea of the impact that the library has for the community. And I wrote these down. I'm terrible with numbers. I'm great with words and terrible with numbers. So during the first quarter, this is January through March of this year, we circulated 43,373 books and other library materials. We issued 758 new library cards. That is an average of 8.5 new library cards per day. And this last one I'm really proud of. We provided library services and resources to 16,619 people over the past 3 months that came through our door. And so all of those numbers represent connections that we've made, resources that we've been able to provide to people, and reading materials that we've been able to share with them. We are coming up on our busiest time of the year. Summer reading is our tax season, as I call it. So I expect those numbers are only going to go up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aaron. If you want people to show up, don't call it a tax season. All right. Anybody else for the good of the order? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Beverly, and it's Proby, P with a Paul, and Roby. Good evening. I haven't seen you all in a little bit. So, but I'm here, and I'm sure all of you know why I'm here. I'm here on behalf of the Bonney Lake Senior Center. This that I received in the mail, the survey, brought me here because I put before this council about the building next door to the current facility. And then I read in number 10, the old City Hall property that's located at 9306 Bonney Lake Boulevard, adjacent to Allen York Park, which we also know is adjacent to the current facility, which all of you have been in. You know that it is inadequate. It's long overdue for a change. I also started to wonder, we have Beautify Bonney Lake, and I'm wondering why it was never taken upon that that building should have been part of a painting party of some sort during some time of a Bonney Lake Beautify, but it has not. That building is peeling. I got back and was able to go on the 31st, I believe, the last Monday in March. The building was 53 degrees. It took until 1 o'clock for it to get to 65. We had seniors sitting in there having lunch in their coats. Unfortunately, it went the other way this past Thursday. 70 in the building, which they were opening. Then I find out that last year, issue that took 2 years, maintenance problems, the council, policies that are new in this as to how and we're getting a lot of new cities that want to come in, guys, but we don't. This city needs a larger footprint. I'm right. We don't need any more parks. Because every new home needs to put yes, and that's something. That facility needs, we need to have a new one. That's bottom line. Not another park. The one that the baseball field that's built is beautiful. But we don't need any more.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, is there anybody else for the good of the order? Okay, hearing none, we will move to correspondence.
You need to go, do the virtual.
That is right. We don't have that as the ad lib. All right, that is the last of our live commentary. Do we have anybody virtually who wishes to address the council? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on to correspondence, which there is none, and so therefore we will move on to council committee reports. Finance committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee meeting was canceled because we didn't have anything on the agenda, but the next meeting would be scheduled for Tuesday, April 25th at 5 p.m. upstairs, and the public as well.
All right. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Carter. Community Development Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Community Development Committee did meet on April 4th, 5 p.m. upstairs, second floor there. We're always public welcome to that meeting. Several items of business included an ordinance to amend Chapter 12.12 of Allen York Park Field 5 charges. I mentioned that before. As noted, the new park is different, very different from the other fields that we have, so we need different charges for this. I'm sure we'll revisit it at some point in time, but this is a great place to start. Thanks for staff getting that together for the appropriate charges and hours of use on that. Recommended it to full council for approval this evening. Also, ordinance for the amending of Chapter 15.13, Stormwater Management for the MPDS permit source control requirements. That's a new requirement for the city because we're in phase 2 of that MPDS situation now. The committee recognizes, of course, that obviously need to follow state laws and regulations and always have to do that type of stuff. Staff is going to be hopefully working directly with a lot of the new businesses and different things that are affected by those regulations in a cooperative fashion. That was kind of the main thing that came out of the committee, because there are a bunch of new regulations there, and we did recommend that for approval this evening. It's on your agenda. Also, contract for Rainer asphalting and traffic curb improvements. That's some of those curbs, if you've noticed on some of this one's out there in front of Lowe's. It's going to be replaced in the in middle of the street there. It's kind of falling apart. They're going to have one of those in-place ones. It's, in the street, so it doesn't get knocked around. Recommended that for approval, had our minutes, and then various discussion items. So that was our items of business that evening.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Swatman. Intriguing as always. All right. Let's move on to Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Safety meeting met today. Our committee met today. We have 4 items on your consent agenda tonight. AB 2352, out-of-state training. AB 2355, fingerprinting and firearm service contract with the Sheriff's Office. AB 2364, an interlocal agreement with Sunnyside Jail. And AB 2360, a memo of understanding for Rainier Recovery. And then we had 3 other ones that'll be up on the 25th. AB 2353, multi-agency ILA for our SWAT team. A contract with Pierce County Security, AB 2357, and AB 2361, a interlocal agreement with Metro K-9. We had our reports from East Pierce Fire and Rescue. Our station is projected to be open sometime in mid-Q 2024. It is currently ahead of schedule. Station 118 out in Edgewood should be opening in June. And you may be seeing a new medic unit around, Medic 111. It's a red and black one now, so it's a new color scheme for the fire department. We had a report from Chief Jeter on our monthly reports for March and February. Burglaries, theft, and car thefts are down due to proactive policing. It's been very effective in lowering incidents and occurrences like that. 2023 versus 2022 calls are down for service right now. Knock on wood. Unfortunately, DVs are up. Sector traffic tickets are up 40%, and traffic misdemeanors are up as well, and that's all due to more proactive policing. Police did have a motor home towed near Walmart, along with a boat and a trailer. It was an eyesore that had been being complained about. It was abandoned, so we got that all squared away. There is a school enforcement study that has been completed. The report will be presented to us in May. There were 3 swearing-ins last Thursday, one which was a promotion for sergeant, one for an officer, and one for a community service officer. And we have another swearing-in this coming Thursday for another officer. Our prosecutor gave their report, 27 arraignments in March, 92 pretrials, 355 total hearings. On Monday, April 17th, there will be a community court graduation ceremony at 3 p.m. here in this room. If you're able to join, that would be great. We had a report from our emergency management department, and they just got done with their quarterly exercises, and they have a functional exercise coming up on July 27th for a mass care shelter in place. It is a continuation of last year's Lahar drill. Now that we've got them out of the valley, what do we do? So it's a functional exercise on the second step of that. We had an open discussion on Veterans Memorial Drive in Main Street over there by CJ's Deli. There was some initial concern from a constituent about people driving through on that right-hand turn drop-off lane. There were 10 accidents there over the last 5 years, only one as a result of that particular incident. And Kelly, the report's coming to you, so you can reach back out if you haven't got it already. We had a discussion on potential legislation for boat sizes and decided not to pursue that. And then we are having a continuing reservation system for boat launch discussion.
All right. Thank you, Councilman.
That is it. We approved our minutes and we left.
I was particularly pleased to hear about our interlocal agreement with the Sunnyside.
Oh, that's right. We didn't approve our minutes because we had finance minutes in there. So
Oh.
I apologize. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sure Councilmember Watson will straighten that out. Okay. No other reports, so let's move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of adopting the consent agenda for April 11th, 2023, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It'll be reflected that the consent agenda was approved unanimously tonight. I'm sorry?
Yes.
We did get a first and second.
Second.
Yeah. And let's see, I think we're moving on to the, moving on to the motion. Madam Clerk, could you read the motion, please?
You are not on the right page, sir.
I am not on the right page.
We are
I
adjourned.
think we're done.
Oh, are we done? Oh, my goodness. And we're being filmed, too. This is-
Where is that?
All right, let's, if we have no other business, we have no other executive closed session tonight, so yes.
Are you sure?
We are adjourned.
All right.
Unless we're not, Madam Clerk.